I don't know about you, but I'm a very conscious buyer. Some people might call it overthinking. I just like to call it doing my research, planning on my purchase, actually making sure I'm going to want and use and have the quality I want when I actually make the purchase of what I'm buying. And a lot of people put a ton of thought into their next purchase, especially if it's something worth a little bit of value, whether that be a new car, a new laptop, a new smartwatch, whatever it is. Chances are people nowadays are gonna do some research on it. Give it a Google, go to YouTube, watch a video or two before they actually commit to purchasing it. But when it comes to a house, I feel like it's just a given. When you're a first-time home buyer, you just go and buy a first-time house, and usually that first-time house is a single-family house, and that's just the automatic thought that goes into someone looking for a first-time house. But is that the smartest choice? Because nobody ever stops themselves to say, hey, I'm a first-time home buyer. What should I be buying? Is there other options than just a single-family house? There are condos, townhouses, multifamilies. What's the best option? And in today's video, I'm going to be going over the multifamily option, which when you buy it and you live in one unit and rent out the remainder, is called house hacking. So I'm going to dive into that now. And just for an FYI, I did record this video once before, so hopefully it'll be better this time around, but my hair was all messed up, so that's why I got the hat on now. And now back to the conversation of the first-time buyer. Of course, people are going to put thought into the first time buying in the means of, I have to find a house that fits in my budget. I want X, Y, and Z, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, an acre of land. They think of the location, but again, they don't think, is that the only option they have? Because when you buy a first time home, typically you're in there for 2 to 5 years before you want to sell that place, and either you need to upgrade because you have a growing family, or you're just doing better in life, you make some more money, you want a bigger and better house to fit that lifestyle now. But again, you know that your budget probably isn't gonna have everything you want in the house that you can afford at the time. So you're already making a sacrifice there. You're gonna have, again, you're planning on purchasing this just to resell. So is there a different option in this? And there really is, and it's a pretty good option in house hacking. Because the way I look at it is, you're a first-time home buyer and you get these great options, a low down payment loans. So why wouldn't you use that to really take advantage of it and find yourself an investment property as your first house? And I know a bunch of red flags pop up when I say investment property, when I say multiple units, when I say collecting rent, because you automatically say, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to learn how to do property management. I don't want to have that on my hands. I want to have my own house and my own space. That's why I'm buying a house. I don't want to buy another apartment. Okay, if you're 100% set on getting a single family house and there's no moving you, I'm not going to move you. So it is what it is. But if you're someone that's looking at other options, this can be a great option. And I'm going to get into that right now. Because to preface it, I mean, you're already used to shared living in some way. Because chances are, if it's your first time you're buying a house, you're either coming from living with your parents, living with roommates, or renting an apartment. So you're already used to the apartment situation. You're already used to having to share a house with some other people. So why not make that sacrifice, just go a little bit longer and get yourself a smart choice in buying a house that's actually going to supply you with money. If this video is providing you with value, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button as I come out with new videos every single week. Because again, when you're the landlord, not only are you the owner, but you're the one collecting the rent, meaning that you can put that towards your mortgage payment. And if you do it correctly and the deal actually works out well, it can either be you living for very, very cheap, a few $100s a month, or it could even cover the whole mortgage payment and you're living essentially for free while owning a house. So to put this into some better actual numbers, I'm going to give you the example of my own purchase when I bought my first house back in 2019. I was 20 years old. I had no clue what I was doing in real estate. I read some books on investing and that led me down the path of real estate investing. I got super into it. But again, I was a 20-year-old. I didn't know what to do. My plan at first was to go buy a single family house. I couldn't afford much. There was nothing in my budget. So I was like, hey, what about this multifamily thing? It does seem like a good idea. I kind of was forced into it. And with that, I was allowed to use what I was projected to get in rent towards how much I could afford, so it bumped up that budget a little bit. So to get into the actual numbers, I bought my first property, which is a 2-family property, for $172,000. And I had to bring 3.5% down because I was doing an FHA loan, which is one of the most common along the first-time home buyer loans. It is government-backed, so there are some more strict regulations on it than just a regular old conventional loan. But in the whole negotiations of the deal, I ended up getting some concessions at closing from the seller, which was about $8,000. So I had to come to closing to buy my first house with $5,020. Yeah, that's right, $5,020. Now, this is a building that I've owned for the past 5 years. I've collected over $100,000 in rent with it, and I bought it at 20 with $5,000. Okay, put that into relation. That's pretty crazy. And to get a little bit more into the numbers, when I got this property, my mortgage for the place was $1,450 a month. And when I bought it, I did inherit a tenant that was downstairs. I moved into the top unit, and the downstairs unit was paying $1,200 a month. Not covering the whole mortgage, but again, that now made my mortgage payment from $1,450 to $250. $250 to own a house. And I was living in a spacious 2-bedroom apartment. Like, it was a nice I would have rented it. I would have rented it and lived there myself. It was a nice apartment. And then within a few months, that tenant moved out. She was already on her way out, and she knew that. So I got myself a new tenant that was paying $1,400 a month, leaving me only $50 to cover the mortgage of my house. Now, was this living situation everything I wanted? No, of course it wasn't. I'd way rather have a single family house that's just a nice little area, 5 acres or so of land with some privacy that I can go outside and just hang out with my dog whenever I want, instead of being in the downtown city area of Keene. But guess what? It worked for what I was doing. It was my first house. I bought it. It became a good investment because I've moved out of that building since then and bought another property. And since I moved out, that building cash flows me around $1,000 a month. Now, is that a ton of money? No. Am I going to retire off that? No. But again, keep in mind, I spent $5,000 on the down payment. I've collected over $100,000 of rent on the property. The property value has almost doubled since I bought the property. And I've gotten to use all the tax benefits that come with owning a rental. So, was it everything I wanted? No. Was it a great deal? Yes. Now, I do want to be clear with this. I'm not bragging in any way. I'm not that type of a person, and if I was, I'd have to be a lot further down the road in my eyes to actually brag, but I'm not that type of person. I'm just saying this because it shows how powerful, if you make that first purchase correctly, how powerful it can be. Because imagine I just went and bought a single family house and my mortgage payment was $1,450. And I had to cover it all. Do you think I would have been able to buy another investment property within 3 years? Probably not, because I would have spent all my savings on my mortgage payment. Instead, having a tenant helping pay my mortgage, I was able to save so much more money because I didn't really have any housing payment. So that all went towards saving for my next property. Before wrapping this up, I do want to say, of course, there's some downsides. You're going to have to learn about property management. You're going to have to learn how to place a tenant, how to collect rent, all this stuff, but it's not that hard. Again, I was 20 years old when I first got into this. If a 20-year-old kid can go do this without any experience in real estate, it was before I was an agent or anything. I was just a delivery driver. If he can do it, I have a ton of faith that you can learn how to do it and at least manage a few units. Because again, you don't have to become some crazy investor. You can just have 2 units, be collecting an extra $1,000 a month just as a little side thing while you see that balance of your mortgage go down. Your value hopefully goes up, and again, you're not the one paying it down anymore because your renters are the ones paying for your mortgage. So I think the first purchase in real estate can be so much more powerful than people make it out to be, because yes, you can go buy a single family house and have the American dream, the white picket fence, all that good stuff, but you're going to move out in 2 to 5 years anyways. So why not go use this great opportunity to go get into an investment property for probably as cheap as you're ever going to get into it. Use it for a few years just like you would a single family house, and instead of selling it, you rent it out, and now you have cash flowing property giving you money while you go buy the house you did want. So that's the way I look at it. If you're looking to invest or buy or sell in the New Hampshire area, please feel free to reach out. I would love to talk it over. And if you're super into this house hacking thing, just let me know and I'd love to explain more, give you my story. I have 6 years almost experience doing this, which is absolutely crazy. And it's just been a journey. But again, is it the situation I want? Do I still want to be living in an apartment? No. But living for free is pretty sweet while owning a house. So that's the way I put it. Anyways, I will catch you guys next week, and I hope you enjoyed the video.